Okay, everybody, I'm live. I'm going to get connected on my little phone here so I can see comments if anybody shows up. It's I've had a very lazy day today. I didn't sleep well last night, and so I slept a lot today. Now I've got to see if I'm live. Oh, there I am. Now I can turn it on. Check out. It's actually not much delay either. It's pretty good. So, comments, live chat. Not even a person who's chatted yet. Nobody's even said hi yet. That's because there is, there's two people on. There they are. Now I'm getting them. Rolling through reality. Hey there. And Debbie Anderson. Hi Gus. Happy Saturday. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It may be everywhere else, but here it's raining. It's just totally socked in. The clouds are about, maybe 1,500 feet high. Not even that, maybe 1,000. And it's all white sky with rain or drizzle all day. So I might look a little sleepy because I just woke up. Actually, it wasn't that. I woke up and I came to my coffee shop, Blends Coffee, and got myself a coffee to wake up. And since my trip to the States, since I was down in California this last winter, I got used to getting hazelnut and other kinds of sweet syrups put in my coffee. So now I'm drinking coffee with hazelnut, which is why I drop by the coffee shop rather than make my coffee quite frequently. I'm going to have to buy some syrup or those little packages of flavoring so I can have my addiction on the beach without coming and parking here on the street. Anyway, so there's two of us here, but nobody's, that's all. It says six people. Come on, put a comment down. Push the like button. Push the like button. And if you can have any place you could share this, share it to someplace. I need more subscribers and more watchers. Simple as that. That's what I need. But maybe you guys can tell me what you're up to today and where you're living or hanging out. What's going on in your area? I don't know if it's a lot of people here and basically everywhere talk about this COVID and stuff. COVID plans. Almost everybody's sort of going back to work. But I live in a province that almost didn't. They didn't shut businesses down. They just gave them rules and for the time being. So most of the businesses didn't know how to remain open. And so most, how would I put it, decided to close down. And our health officer didn't actually, mandate that all businesses closed down. She just gave them rules that made it hard for them to start up. Or not hard for them to start up, but hard for them to know how to proceed. But this weekend, like after this weekend, our province is going to open up to almost all kinds of work. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how things develop over the next month or so. But it doesn't matter to me. I've been working since I got home 2 months organizing photo shoots that were going to take place starting about 4 days ago. But all of the first photo shoots have been canceled because the first person had a cough, and that cough is kind of scared her, so she was going to go and get tested, and didn't want to give me any disease, so we didn't go through with that photo shoot. The next one, the girl just felt overworked and tired and didn't want to shoot that weekend, which means that basically she lost interest. And then the other one we're rescheduling, but I can't remember why. And then tomorrow's photo shoot is being canceled because of rain. So I've been organizing for 2 months to get these photo shoots organized. And now the first four of them are going to be rescheduled because of the weather. And it looks like the next 6 will be rescheduled because of the weather. So it looks like the first 9 or 10 of them are canceled right away. Anyway, that's life. That's how she rolls. So that was going to keep me busy. My photo shoots. That was going to give me topics to make videos about. And I bought a drone. The drone was going to help me. I was going to be able to do lots of drone footage and make drone videos. But it's going to rain for like 2 weeks. I can't fly it around in the rain. And the pictures won't even be pretty because it's just a dull, socked-in sky. So now I don't know what to make videos out of. I'm burping from my coffee. So what are you guys up to? What are you saying? Debbie Anderson, how's the hot... Oh, I haven't even hooked up the hot water yet. Because this morning I went out to the hardware store and got some drill bits. I need them because I keep breaking them. And then I will hang it either this afternoon or, basically this evening or sometime tomorrow, I hope. But the rain, it was really pouring. I didn't want to stand in the pouring rain to drill a couple of holes, so I've put it off. But it'll be in there pretty soon. I'm actually hoping that if you go on Google or something, you look for hot water on demand, these are almost all the same. They're portable little units, and they heat up the water more or less as the water flows through the system. I'm actually even hoping I can turn it up hot enough to be able to just turn it on and pour it straight out of the hot water machine into like a pitcher or something, or a kettle, so that I can use it to make coffee. I'm hoping I can make coffee faster this way than putting it on my propane stove. Anyway, we'll see. It'll be kind of interesting. That woman walked by with 3 huge pizzas for her family. That anytime I see pizza, I lose concentration. I just get glued on it. So what else is being said here? You're telling stories about your days right now. I'm telling stories about my days. Make that into a video. Basically, my day to day, for example, like I said, has been me sleeping and hanging out in the cab of my truck. Drinking coffee or making a lunch. It's not as easy. A lot of people don't really understand, but a lot of YouTube channels are couples, and each of them, first of all, they can interact with each other, and each of them can do a little clip of their own. And if they have a dog, they can shoot their dog for a couple of seconds. And if they have a pretty van, they've got another subject, which is the van to shoot. So I don't have any of those things. I could make the bus a little bit prettier and stuff like that, but it's not at all going to be like, sort of better homes and gardens like many of the other van users. But what I'm trying to say is that each of them have different subjects they can do without doing anything. For example, my friend Chrome can just show the inside of his van. He's got it really pretty now, so he can just kind of talk about stuff in his van. Shoot a couple of shots of his dog and then say, hi, how are you? And let's have a wonderful day, and van life is awesome. And then his video's over. So he can kind of do that because it's not necessary. Some of them are not necessarily what he did during the day. But I don't really have those topics. And I did buy a camera and a drone in order to go outside and do some sort of photography type videos that might attract those that are interested in photography, or those that are starting out in photography, and might still be interesting to my existing audience. But it's going to be raining, so I can't, you know what I mean? Can't do what I'm planning. I still get videos done, but I don't know right now what they will be, because my history has been to wake up in the morning and shoot myself getting a coffee and shoot myself where I am and what I'm doing. But right now I'm not doing much, and it's constantly in the same environment. So I think the videos will get boring. So I tried now to do them less often when I think I can produce something that's a little bit that's more interesting than just sort of a standard thing. Anyway, that's something a lot of people don't understand, is that there's often a lot of actors there's a lot of actors in some people's blogs, and by that I mean that even the vehicle is an actor, or their pet is an actor, and their partner's an actor, and the location they're in is an actor. But I'm kind of just me and my location, so I think it's harder for me to create videos. It's also harder to make them interesting, which is why I have fewer subscribers. I don't know how to put. Now, I see friends every day. Like, for example, the other day I met somebody and we flew my drone. He is a subscriber, or at least watches my videos. And so we hung around for a few hours and chatted and stuff. He's a nice guy. It was fun to talk to him. Then later on in the day, somebody else came along and started to talk to me that was same thing, as a subscriber or interested in van life or something. And I basically spent the whole day talking to people who would not want to be on camera. So although I had an interesting day, it's not a day that I can sort of utilize what happened. I can't really utilize what happened that day. And then, of course, it starts getting dark before I even started to make my video. Anyway, coffee time. These are crazy excuses, but because in reality, I could just sort of brush the people that come by off and be able to make a video. But most of the time, I'm having a lot of fun with them, and I'd much rather, spend some time with friends than create a video. I've got to read these things, and I've got really not all great eyes, and I have to get my eyes to focus on this, and then I can read it. So Tom Moran is traveling. I don't know where Traveling Frank is. I haven't seen him for a while. Well, we were I wanted him to come down with me to California, but we didn't quite get that to happen. And then he took off, spent most of his time in BC and Alberta, but I don't know where he's gone. Maybe he's produced some videos, but I haven't seen them. I'm subscribed, but I haven't seen them. Gus, your vids are easy to watch. One of your friends is not easy at all. Don't have to impress. What is this? It's not easy at all. Don't have to impress people with Chrome. Frank's my neighbor. I don't understand what you're talking about, Tom. I don't spend any time trying to impress anybody. I am impressive. I don't know how to say that. I put no effort into being anything other than I am, and if people aren't impressed, fuck them or screw them. You know what I mean? I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Most people, I respect most people, and I expect everybody around me to respect everybody. So I hope you're not sort of pissing on my friend. Frank, Tom Moran, some try too hard. Goodbye, Tom. What do we put? Put this user on timeout. You see, when somebody comes in and they're negative, I haven't got even 2 seconds time to waste with those people. If all they can do is think is to say crap about other people, they're gone. They're just They're pointless people. The reason they're like that is because they have no power, no self-esteem, and nothing but jealousy and anger towards other people. So, what's his name? Tom's gone. Would like to learn about your camera and your drone when it's not raining. Yeah, I want to make videos about how, like, I'm not going to use the drone in the same fashion as everybody else. Somebody gave me a super chat. Who's that? Who is that? Oh, there it is. Julie's Journey. Thank you, Julie. No, that's what I plan to do. I am a photographer. How would I put it? I was a professional photographer until I retired. And but a lot of people don't really understand that there's a lot that one needs to know about photography, and therefore nobody knows all about photography. Nobody's an expert, but they all have ideas and concepts. And I plan to use my drone a little differently than most people use it, more for photography purposes, and actually lower to the ground than other people, I guess is the better way to put it. I don't really plan, I will be going up in the air and shooting the environment above me, but I think it would be a lot more fun to be flying along really fast over a field of little flowers. Something like that, or not really fast, but maybe slow motion over a field of flowers. I think that would be because it's a shot you can't get otherwise, and I think that's probably a better use for a drone, or at least an unusual use for a drone. So I'll be doing a lot of experimental stuff with the drone, and the funny thing about my new camera is that they constantly upgrade small parts of the camera, little features and stuff. So the camera I bought is the same as the camera I had before, more or less, except an upgraded model, a very new model compared to what I had before. Well, what I wanted to do before was hold the camera like this with a video, and then talk about how I create my composition, and then click a button and a picture will be a photo will be taken, and then the video will carry on. So my old camera would do that, but I can't use it because the sound on that camera is so shitty you can't use it. So I never used it for video. I might still do that, but now my new camera has great sound, and it does the focusing I need properly within the camera, but I can't take a picture while I'm taking a video. So it's kind of funny when you get ideas and things that you want to do, and then you try to upgrade to do them, and then you find out that that's the only thing that they changed on the newest version. It's the only thing they took away, was the thing that I actually wanted. So anyway, when I'm planning to make these things, it's kind of comical because sometimes they're very complicated. The video I took the other day, I had an iPhone on the ground. I set up my camera to take a video, and then I was flying the drone, and I lost the drone footage, so the actual video turns out to be a lot less exciting without the drone footage. So sometimes your plans don't work out, and and you end up having to use the video that you did get, which is nowhere near what you actually had planned. So as a director of a movie, when you're the only one, you're like in trouble if any part of those or any little pieces of that don't work the way you wanted them to. But anyway, my what do you call it? My channel is going to be a lot about photography. Ideally, a lot about the photography I do with the models. In other words, model photography. And then a little bit because that's what I know well, right? I can talk a lot about that in terms of helping people learn how to do that, helping people learn how to pose. I mean, it might sound dumb, but if you're just as an example, if I'm relaxed, My stomach is sticking out. My shoulders are sagging down like this. And, but I could stand up straight and stick out my chest and look pretty hot, or at least a lot better. But it hurts to stand up straight and suck in my tummy and make my shoulders square and broad. So it hurts to actually look good. And that's one thing that I would probably, I could tell everybody. A lot of these sort of photos that you see of somebody just slouching in a chair, they look like a slouch. I mean, they look comfortable, but they don't look as good as they can, is the best way to put it. So they're kind of, drawing, how would I put it? They're kind of creating what I would call sort of non-positive thoughts in their viewer's mind. So what's going on here? I've got red lights here. Who's that? I don't know why I can't read this. Anyway, Armchair Wanderers here saying good evening, being a beautiful sunny day where he is in Edmonton. Yeah, Edmonton is often sunnier than Vancouver. Wait till the summer though. Summer gets, we don't get rain for a long time, and Edmonton gets those thunderstorms so very regularly, or used to when I lived there. So, who's this? You see, I can read what people say, but I sometimes can't read their name here. Lee, Gypsy Child. Hi. Oh, she's saying hi, Gus in the bus. Carla Jordan, hi. You guys are just saying hi to each other. I'm very happy I create a room where you can all be friends. It's kind of, it says there's 21 live, 21 people watching. Why aren't they saying anything? Asking me questions and stuff. It says Gus, it has rained it's rained for 2 days in California. Or Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma is, I don't know what that would be like. That would be, you guys get a lot of thunderstorms and, what do you call it, typhoons, or I guess they would, anyway, dust balls or something. Who have we got? Armchair Wanderer, you bet summer can be very wet and cold here. I lived in Edmonton for 2 years. Both of my sons were born there. And how would I put it? When I got there, I went through a summer. Then I went through a winter with an extremely young child, obviously, because he was born in, it wasn't even a year old. So then I went through a summer, and then how would I put it? Then I basically went through another year. Now, I had lived up north. I was in Prince George for many years, so I was totally aware and totally comfortable in the cold. And I liked the summers. The summers are pretty cool. But I lived in the west side, right near the farming areas, and when I put my son outside in the summertime, he was either going to get burned, and every time we put him out for a little while to go play in the, nice fenced backyard, little kid just ready to run around. He can run around. He could run around all day in Vancouver, but in Edmonton he came back in like a half hour, and he's got like blood pouring off his head from the black flies that were eating him up, right? So we couldn't put our kids out in the summer and couldn't put them out in the winter, so I left Edmonton and came to Vancouver. And the first month I came to Vancouver was in January, and my kids and I were in t-shirts and shorts for the first 2 weeks. First 2 weeks of January in a year. Edmonton was like -20, and Vancouver was like, I'm talking about Fahrenheit. And Vancouver was, that it would be around 20 Celsius or 65 or something like that Fahrenheit. Anyway, so Edmonton, I loved Edmonton. I made lots of money, had a great job, but I just didn't, I didn't know how my kids could get outside and play, so I came down here. Who's that? That's $6.99. The Traveling Art Guide sending me, a super chat. Thank you, sir. It's always nice to get those things. My YouTube income hasn't been very good lately. It what actually happens with my YouTube income is that if I do a couple of chats a month or something like that, then it just ticks my income over into $100. So sometimes these what do you call it, the super chats really help in terms of sort of keeping me at a sort of balanced income from YouTube. But I haven't been making a YouTube video every day like I did before, so I don't I'm not really, how would I put it, I'm not working hard to keep that revenue up. Now, when I'm traveling or I'm shooting a model, or I can make a story out of that because there's actually something in that day that's unusual. But when it's raining, I don't want to go for a hike. I don't want to go for a walk. I just kind of hang around in the bus. But at least for the next few days, I'll be able to do, shots of like how I installed and how my on-demand hot water heater works and stuff. And I can wash my hair, and I mean I wash it, but not so much when the water's cold. I wash my body with rags and stuff. That's not so bad because I can heat up a little bit of water. But trying to wash my hair inside my bus and rinse my hair, etc., and have enough hot water to use it on my hair, I just ignore it. Let it get, it can get as dirty as it wants. I'll wash it when I need to. Is that the traveling art guy? Twice? No, just once. That's good. I just did it, popped up again, so I thought maybe you had done it again. Gee, Lily Gypsy Child. Anyway, you were saying, did I photograph anything today? No, I'm not really I don't go out and shoot sort of landscapes. I have my equipment is set up and tuned to or organized to be a portrait photographer. So I shoot portraits of people, or I would of a horse or something like that. But I shoot portraits. So my camera gear is designed for portraits. None of it is I didn't buy any of it in order to do what you would like wide angle, to do wonderful landscapes. So because my gear for anything other than portraits would create sort of what would you call it, it might be a reasonable landscape photo, but it's not wide angle enough or zoomed enough to, it's just not the right tool. So I don't really go out and try and create stuff that I'm not equipped for or not necessarily all that good at. A lot of people don't understand that, like, there's lots of photographers are, how would I put it, very flexible. They can photograph anything. And every photograph that you ever see from them is just outstanding, like they're a classic photo. But like, just for example, if I was to shoot, if most of us shoot pictures of people, all of us shoot our friends and stuff. Well, most of the time, the average person is actually trying to get the camera to work and not worried about what the person in the photo looks like. In fact, they think that person looks good, so they just take the photo. What happens is that when you compare that with real art, like the Mona Lisa, that picture was shitty, like really bad. It wouldn't. The photos we take of our friends, for us, they mean there's some emotional value, but for another person looking at it, it isn't going to be recognized as great art 500 years from now. Do you understand what I mean? So when the average person takes a photo, they're not actually thinking, this can be hanging in the Louvre. I'm going to try and get this so good that it'll be hanging in a major art gallery 100 years from now. They're thinking I just need a photo that I can put on Instagram or whatever. So when I shoot a photo, I'm not trying to, I don't ever think I'm going to be able to have any of my photos hanging in a gallery 100 years from now as an example of one of the most awesome photographers. I do try to do that though. In other words, I don't even want to push the shutter button unless what I see is incredible in my mind. And then when I get the photo home, then I find out it's kind of an incredible thing, but it's not that wonderful. It's kind of ordinary. So, because photography became a job, meaning if I take photos of the models and my clients, and then I have a job to do afterwards, I really don't want to push that button unless I think what I'm going to get in terms of a photo is worthwhile. And I think probably everybody who has hard drives with millions of photos on them knows that there's kind of no point in taking another ordinary photo unless I've got a story to tell. In other words, if I could go out with all the cameras and set them up, and then make a kind of a story out of what I'm doing, then I can, for YouTube, I don't have any expectation that, like, I don't think this YouTube video is going to be shown in an art gallery 100 years from now. So the YouTube videos I don't have the same sort of demand for excellence, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's really hard to just go out and take pictures, even though I kind of show that, that is how you get great content. It is by noticing, being present, and noticing what's around you, noticing what's unusual. So what do we got here now? What do you say? Hi Gus, I'm stall time Quebec City. What's stall time? Anyway, Quebec City is the most beautiful little town I can think of, certainly in Quebec. Lily, did you photograph? I'm not getting any comments here. Maybe it's not updating. Is that part of the problem, you guys? Says there's 18 people. I guess that's 18 people on right now. I would really love if people ask questions about, whatever, anything. I can't, it doesn't, like, when people come by and talk to me and say they subscribe, or they come by and ask me about life in a bus, they got lots of questions. I don't know when I get on chat, I don't get many questions. That always surprises me. I've got to maybe set this up so I try top chat, then try live chat. Yeah, you see, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't getting. Would sleep during the. Oh, I would sleep during the rainy day. That's what I did all day. I got up at 6 o'clock, and eventually I slept and I woke up and did stuff, and then I went to sleep again, and I didn't wake up till after 4 o'clock, which is like really weird for me. Now I'm not going to sleep at all tonight. Maybe I should make a movie out of the COVID, what do you call them, zombies that are walking around at nighttime. There's somebody sending me a message on Instagram. Oh well, so maybe these glasses will help me. I haven't used this phone much. It was the only phone I used, this guy, and I could read it, but I'm almost always used my glasses, and maybe that will help. These, if they magnify enough, they should help. So where's my message? Now I've lost the chat. Live chat. Okay. Here we go. Now I can kind of read it. You need a haircut and a shave. You know what I say, Carla? When people have negative shit to say, I dump them off the chat. I'm just kidding. Well, yeah, I need a haircut, and I would do it with my what do you call it? I've got an electric razor that I use to shave with, and you put a little measuring thing on it, and it'll cut it all to like an inch everywhere. I do that, but it's really, how would I put it? It's really time consuming. It takes like 2 hours of having your arm up in the air like this and scrolling around and everything to get the haircut. And I think I've been putting it off in order to get go to a barber shop or something, or Supercuts or whatever. And they're supposed to be able to open this week. So I don't think I have to wait more than a week, and somebody will cut it for me. And I won't have to go through that drudgery of cutting it myself. But it's got to come off, obviously. I like to have it 1 inch long, and then I often grow it till it's huge, and then cut it back again. And when did I typically get it cut really short, leave it for 4 or 5 months, and then get it cut really short again, down to 1 inch, like maybe that long. Anyway, so are you going to stay around there a while, or are you going to stay in Vancouver a while, I guess? And when are you going to travel again? My intention was to be here with photo shoots until June the 15th, and they were supposed to start now, and I had almost every day booked until then, but obviously the first week, 10 of them are going to have to be rescheduled within that time frame until June the 15th. And then I'm going to go to Vancouver Island, and then I'm going to go to the Okanagan for a while. Then I go to Alberta to visit Calgary and to visit Edmonton, and then after that I don't really know, but that'll take me till probably the August, maybe even middle or end of August, I think, and then I'll be heading back. When I first started with this plan, the idea was that I would go to Alberta and then head south from Calgary, drive south to Arizona, I guess, through Utah and stuff like that. In other words, hit some of those western, I guess they're called western states, but they're further from the coast. In other words, I would drive down on the other side of the Rocky Mountains, so it means I'd be going through Colorado instead of through instead of through Oregon. So it was to give me a new route, but I'm concerned. Like this COVID-19 we have our borders closed, and this is kind of a sensitive thing to say, but my province, BC, is doing so well compared to what we see happening in the American states. And it's easy as a Canadian to explain to Americans why. We have first of all, we've got a universal payer healthcare system. And that healthcare system has in place already in each province their own sort of CDC. Like we've got a BC CDC, we've got a health officer and a whole health department, and they are all, long before this epidemic, they were all set up to know how to deal with or have protocols to deal with an epidemic. And every one of our provinces have been in that situation, and the federal government it also has a health department that also keeps them all organized and coordinated and funded. So my province has I can't remember, it's like no more than 10 new cases a day. And our numbers of cases are teeny for a province with 5 million people. And then in the United States, in Washington and all the other states, the numbers are way higher, even though Washington's doing a good job compared to other areas. there, you know, there's how would I put it? I almost uh, throughout the United States, there's kind of a lackadaisical, like who gives a shit attitude, and they're not. You're completely disorganized. So what I'm saying is the border's closed. It's closed by both sides. We both want to keep each other out, so we're not transmitting the diseases all over the place. That makes good sense, but I don't think I'm not sure if next September, October it'll be open. And the reason I say that is that at least given the way things are happening, uh, it'll be unsafe to let Americans into Canada because we will be, how would I put it? Our problems will be relatively solved. But if we were to let sort of a disorganized, you know, because the Americans are, the U.S. is a little more disorganized, their transmission rates are way higher. So it would be really hard for Canadian. Most of the people in my province don't want to see an American coming here. It's kind of like a tainted human being. Even though, you know, if we get tests and stuff, there'll be no problem. But what I'm saying is that I might not be allowed to travel down to California next winter, and I don't know if I would want to. I'll have to, you know, look and see what, you kind of have to look at the COVID-19 map and see how dangerous it is to be in a particular state or a particular environment. And I, because I have I have free health care in Canada and none, or at least none other than an little insurance bit. I don't want to be getting my health care in the United States. So what I'm saying is that my travel plans are to stick around Western Canada, but I'm not sure I'll be going down to the States next year. So at some point, you might see me ripping my bus apart so I can put insulation in it all over the place. That might be a good job for me to do all summer or all winter. So it'd be all summer to prepare for winter. Are you going to stay around? Oh yeah, that was the same question. Traveling art guy. No, I can't go to Quebec City. It's too far. When I bought my bus, my hope was to travel across Canada and then down to Florida and then over to California and then back up to BC and then just keep doing that route. Keep traveling more or less in all, you know, throughout Canada and down around the coast in the United States. But since I started traveling and until, I mean, I don't have the income until something like my YouTube channel reaches like, what, maybe 3 to 5 times its size and 3 to 5 times the revenue, then that revenue could pay for the gas to do, or the diesel to do that. But otherwise, I don't have the money. I'm not, yeah, you're right, traveling art guy. We're not sure about travel at all. Whether we can go to the States or the States can come up here. I wish it was more, we could make better plans, but you know, I'm not complaining. I've got an awesome life compared to most people. I would sure being stuck in my bus is hardly like it's like not being stuck in anything. Like at the right in a moment's notice, I can go drive someplace, be somewhere. I can hang out and talk to my friend in a car beside me. We don't even have to get out of the cars, and we can have a meeting and not break the rules. So, but other people who are like somebody living in an apartment, small, tiny little apartment, who doesn't want to take the bus because the buses they're not overflowing. I mean, most of the buses are probably pretty safe, but that person can't really go anywhere. Can't really do much. They might have a bike or something, but what I'm saying is they're pretty limited in terms of what they can do. And I can just get in this thing and drive anywhere I want as long as it's not across the border. Anyway, let's see what others are saying. Nancy Ashley, sounds like you have it made there. You better stay there. I don't think the virus will be in control, but well, Nancy, it doesn't matter what we think. What the problem is that the virus is not going to go away until we've reached a certain state of immunity, period, and that would take 2 to 3 to 5 years anyway. The only kind of solutions they can end up with is like a virus or a pill. You know, you could take, as soon as you got that virus and you took a pill or took like 5 pills, whatever, then and it killed it, then be no problem. No one would care. But at the moment, people care, and so, which is a good thing. But you know, we can't. There's no way in which we can predict sort of a life that I can plan to go to the United States, because it's simply unlikely. And it's unlikely because there's a huge disparity between our countries in terms of how bad or how effective the healthcare systems are at looking after the people. So there's just a lot fewer people here getting sick, that's all. What do we got? Traveling art guy, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's right. No, Carla Jordan. No, I'm not. I'm not parked near the beach. I'm parked on a street where I get coffee, like a lot of apartment buildings and stuff like that here. Well, so I've still only got, I say only, but 22 is probably a pretty cool number, because I don't normally get a lot of subscribers, I mean a lot of people watching these. But I think it's, since I'm not getting many questions, let me refresh it again. Oh, there we are, right. Valley Boy, your health was bad when you were coming home from Arizona. Well, no, my health wasn't bad. What happened in California is that I started to pee blood. And that's pretty alarming. So then I read about that and discovered that that could be cancer, which would mean I better get my ass home really fast. Or it could be just an infection. And if it was an infection, that drinking cranberry juice might help that. So I went out and bought 3 or 4 bottles of cranberry juice like this. This is water. I use it for a water jug. So I went and bought a whole bunch of cranberry juice, drank that straight, just kept drinking it for probably a day. And then sort of solved the urinary problem, so it meant that it wasn't cancer. So I didn't have to rush back for that. But at that time, all of the states were starting to get really ranked up about COVID-19. And they were talking about closing borders already talking about closing borders and stuff. So I needed to come back to Canada, because the same, if I got COVID-19, I wouldn't want to be in the States trying to pay huge money when I can come here and get same service or better sometimes. Well, it would be better because it's free. In other words, there's nobody checking my pocketbook to see if I can pay for their services. So I needed to come back to Canada, but it wasn't because my health was bad. I actually felt very good, except for this one little sort of what I would call a cancer scare. And my health is great now. I'm not having any trouble. In fact, I'm surprised, there's this pandemic going on, and often I'm thinking, I wonder why I feel so good. How come I feel so good? Because other than getting tired sometimes and things like that, I mean, just I don't even have a cold or sniffles or anything. And usually during a wet winter period, I would get, a cold of some kind, but I haven't had one at all this year. Yeah, thank you, Valley Boy. I'm feeling pretty good. It's interesting you say you love watching my channel. I'm I should tell you what my experience is because it seems funny. I think I have more people come and talk to me. I think in the last year, I've had more people come and stop me and talk to me and tell me they watch my videos than I have subscribers. Um, you know, to get to 3,000 only means like 10 people a day. Well, if I've had at least, I would say at least 3 people a day come and talk to me and tell me they watch my videos for 3 years. That's like, yeah, that's like 3,000 people. And the other day I had 2 people come and talk to me and about 6 people waving. Anyway, I feel a lot more popular in real life, like in just on the street and stuff, than I do if I look at my subscriber count. Anyway, you guys, thank you very much for watching. I kind of did this because I'm having a totally boring day. I hope I haven't bored the hell out of you guys, but it turns out that that's basically turns into an update so that you can, if you are sort of following me and stuff like that, you kind of get an idea of what my plans are for the future. And I get to waste an hour on, I don't know how long I've been on. I've been on for an hour and 37 minutes, or 51 minutes. So right about an hour, that's a good limit. So thanks for watching. I'll try and make a video tomorrow. Depends on what the weather's like. And otherwise, I'll see you pretty soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.